the esteemed and highly respected Khenpo Sodargye Rinpoche, all the venerable masters and fellow practitioners from Hainan, a very good evening to everyone present here. I am truly and genuinely excited to be here with all of you today. I believe everyone here feels the same as I do. Because today, we are truly witnessing a profoundly special and significant moment unfolding. We are honored to have invited the esteemed Khenpo Sodargye Rinpoche. Khenpo Sodargye Rinpoche is highly respected among devotees both in China and abroad. He enjoys great renown and has had a profound influence. In terms of translation and authorship, for more than a decade, the master has never ceased writing and translating. A few years ago, he provided oral translations for more than 10 texts on Dzogchen. In recent years, he has translated over 10 exoteric and esoteric scriptures in writing, such as the Beacon of Certainty, the Kataka Jewel, upon the 9th chapter of the Bodhikari-avatara, and the verses and guidance texts of Finding Comfort and Ease in the Nature of Mind, the Dzogchen Trilogy of Natural Freedom, a precious treasury of elegant sayings, Song of the View of the Dzogchen, Song of Sorrow, 30 Pieces of Advice, the Teaching on Pure Land, Peaceful Manjushri Sadhana, on the Dzogchen, Essence of Luminosity, a commentary, and many others. While translating scriptures and treatises, the master also written essays that inspire the faithful, especially for us modern people, as there are many misconceptions in contemporary thinking. After consideration, the master uses simple, easy-to-understand language to open a truly bright and promising path for people. For example, a scientific treatise on Buddhism reveals why Buddhism is not superstition. On the Merits of Releasing Life explains the virtues of refraining from killing and practicing life release. Tibetan Vajrayana, Questions and Answers, clarifies various misunderstandings about esoteric teachings. The view on vegetarian diet in Tibetan Buddhism serves as a wake-up call for practitioners of Tibetan Buddhism. On how to choose between eating meat and being vegetarian. Waves in the Ocean of Wisdom and interviews with PhDs show the spiritual journey of highly educated intellectuals learning Buddhism. A brief discussion on the non-contradiction among Buddhist schools points out that the teachings of various schools are essentially the same, distinguished by the minds of ordinary people. In addition to writing books and giving teachings, the master devoted tireless effort to the practice of life release for many years. He called on people to save countless birds, beasts, aquatic animals, fish, and shrimp from the butcher's knife. He is respectfully known as the Life Release Khenpo. The master once wrote in his book, "I think that my greatest wish in coming to this world is to help those weak and helpless living beings so that they can live freely and at ease in the embrace of nature." In recent years, the master has also launched the Initiate Compassion campaign. He called on everyone that while rescuing animals, we should not ignore the people in need around us. He led by example, taking the initiative himself, and within just 2 or 3 years, he successively established the Wisdom and Compassion Primary School and an elderly lay practitioners' home in Tibet, as well as a novice monk academy, Wisdom and Compassion Middle School, and others. He provided financial support to high school and university students who had dropped out of school. He also set up scholarship funds in several middle schools. He provided relief to suffering from cancer and serious illnesses who could not afford treatment. The master once made a vow that as long as there were truly pitiful and helpless people reaching out to him for help, and as long as all of the necessary conditions were fully met, he would do everything in his power to help them. He would continue until all conditions were exhausted and there was nothing more he could do. The master followed the lineage of the Dharma King, the wish-fulfilling jewel, and among all virtuous deeds, he placed greatest importance on teaching Dharma. He often advised practitioners in settings not to aim high or practice blindly without understanding. One must establish correct views through listening to contemplating the Dharma. With the Dharma Society's establishment, the master endured hardship, working tirelessly, sparing no effort. Despite facing tremendous pressure and the pain and exhaustion of illness, he taught texts such as The Way of the Bodhisattva, Words of My Perfect Teacher, and the Tibetan Pure Land teachings, as well as other profound Mahayana teachings like the verse summary of Prajna Paramita. He disseminated through CDs, MP3s, and lecture notes, spreading them to countless households around the world. The master earnestly advised his disciples that if one can benefit sentient beings, even if it is one person, and find a way to inspire a single good thought in them, it would be worth serving that person as their servant for millions of years. These are also the master's words. I do not know how much longer I will live, but as long as I have a single breath left, only one person listening to the Dharma, I will do my utmost to truly benefit them with the profound teachings of the Buddha. A few simple words cannot even begin to adequately describe a fraction of the master's immense compassion and his profound wisdom. Especially when it comes to the master's level of realization, it can only be truly seen by those disciples who are destined and have the eyes of faith. Alright, now let us all listen with pure minds together. Khenpo Sodargye Rinpoche will now give us a teaching.
Today, I will give everyone a brief teaching here. As for the content of the teaching, during lunch today, Mr. Lee, a representative from Bodhi Tree Culture Company Limited, when we were talking, there was a rather unique and special circumstance that unexpectedly arose. At that specific moment in time, he approached me and inquired about the particular subjects or topics I intended to discuss or present during the course of that afternoon. My immediate and honest reply was that, regrettably, I had not yet truly or thoroughly prepared any material whatsoever for the upcoming discussion. So I thought, why not talk about how to establish faith, how to maintain faith, or how to strengthen faith? At that particular time, he also explicitly stated that he happened to be deeply contemplating this very same thing in the early morning. He told his wife, "Didn't I mention this morning, just as I was leaving, that I would be back later? That I wanted Khenpo to talk about faith. Isn't this a truly perfect coincidence?" Of course, I can understand that you might find this difficult to believe. However, for the two of us, there is absolutely no need for us to fabricate or misrepresent a falsehood about the profound Dharma here. So this is indeed entirely true, and it is also a rather wonderful and quite remarkable circumstance that has unfolded. Everyone here truly shares this kind of common and profound karmic connection. Therefore, I thought I would take this wonderful opportunity today to talk with each and every one of you about this very important topic and share some insights. How do most Buddhists generally develop their faith in practice? And ultimately, how do we genuinely rely on faith in order to truly realize the profound truth of the Dharma? I'd like to take a moment to share some of my own views on this important topic. You could also say these are some of my personal insights. And I want to share them with all of you. I think most of you present here are probably Buddhists, people who have faith. There may also be a few who believe in other religions. There are also a very small number who don't believe in any religion at all. There should be some. No matter what, we believe that faith is especially important. It's best if everyone has some kind of belief. Why do I say this? In our current society, whether we examine the systems of education or consider the complexities of human intelligence, there is a lack of moral and religious education. If people lack foundational religious and moral education, then just having some intelligence or some material wealth is ultimately not enough to bring genuine satisfaction or lasting happiness. Nor can it truly solve our profound suffering and the many major problems that we face. Therefore, I sincerely hope that everyone can come to deeply understand this through various comprehensive means, the immense importance of developing a strong faith. First, I'd like to talk to everyone about what kinds of significant shortcomings and profound deficiencies there are in lacking genuine and unwavering faith. If one does not possess a strong and steadfast faith, then when it comes to understanding the profound virtues of wholesome deeds in Buddhism and the immense merits of pure and righteous actions, one truly cannot attain them. Just as it is stated in the Heap of Jewels Sutra, if a person truly lacks genuine faith, then absolutely no pure virtues will ever arise. It is very much like burning a seed. It will certainly not sprout any roots or shoots at all. As for this scriptural proof, I believe many people can readily recite it by heart, as it is quite well known. In our Tibetan region, it should be very familiar and widely understood, right? What I just quoted was specifically from the Chinese translation. It is important to note that in some of the treatises I have translated before, there are often different versions of the translation available. The deeper meaning is that if we truly lack faith and devotion, then for such a person, receiving the precious blessings of all the lineage masters, the blessings of the Dharma protectors, or any subtle, unseen, yet truly beneficial effects, true benefit from the Dharma, genuine motivation on the path or realization, are extremely difficult to attain, almost impossible to obtain. It's just like a seed that has already been burned by fire. A scorched seed cannot possibly sprout green shoots. It's essentially the same as this. Some of us truly cannot give rise to deep faith and trust. If authentic faith does not arise in our hearts, then essentially nothing can be accomplished, no matter what methods we try or what we do. It's not just in Buddhism or religious matters, even for any endeavor in the material world. If you sincerely want to accomplish it, the first prerequisite is that you must have motivation, a strong interest. If you don't have a strong interest, even for a mundane business enterprise or an ordinary job in daily life, I'm afraid it genuinely can't be accomplished either. Now, some people may have an innate tendency, which in Buddhist philosophy we refer to as deep karmic connections from previous lives. Such people also cannot give rise to faith in the Dharma, especially when it comes to the wisdom of the Tathagata. They also cannot develop faith. This is also mentioned in the Buddhist scriptures. What do the scriptures say? Just as the sun shines upon the world, but those born blind cannot see it, when the sun illuminates the world, the congenitally blind are unable to see it. Sentient beings, having truly lost their original inherent purity, do not genuinely believe in the profound wisdom of the Tathagata. If sentient beings truly lack sufficient motivation, they will not develop genuine, heartfelt faith in the ultimate wisdom of the Tathagata. This is also something that, in today's society, everyone should be perfectly well aware of. It is clearly obvious to all. Everyone certainly knows that there are countless sentient beings all around us, all of whom could potentially study Buddhism and develop genuine faith, but most of them simply do not truly believe. Among those present here today, perhaps even your own closest friends and family members, no matter what the circumstances, are still unwilling to enter the Buddhist path and do not believe in the profound and sublime wisdom of the Tathagata. As I mentioned earlier, this too is a matter of karmic connection, but if they truly lack faith, it truly is like being completely blind to the truth. They are completely unable to see the beautiful scene of sunlight shining over the whole earth. In the very same way, no matter which particular Buddhist scripture it is, the profound and extensive teachings found in countless sutras and treatises, vast and boundless as the ocean, remain entirely unknown to them. The truly unimaginable, utterly inconceivable teachings of the revered lineage masters and their profound wisdom are also beyond their ability to enjoy. They are simply trapped in their own extremely narrow, discriminating thoughts. They spend their entire days experiencing only profound suffering and immense hardship. Indeed, there are numerous such beings present around us, and for these specific beings we are simply also unable to transform or successfully guide them toward enlightenment. In fact, the Buddha also spoke about this in the Ekotaragama Sutra. The Ekotaragama Sutra clearly states that it is truly useless to talk about generosity to someone who is inherently miserly and greedy, and it is pointless to teach the Dharma to someone who lacks faith. These two particular types of people are extremely difficult to genuinely help. So, if we truly want to help these individuals, it is indeed quite challenging. That's definitely why I say that faith is truly vitally important for practitioners. Because if we closely study the remarkable biographies of accomplished lineage masters throughout the ages, the reason these masters were able to attain realization in such a truly very short period of time was precisely because of their faith. Why is it that so many of these ancient masters were able to persist in their dedicated practice, even in extremely harsh and challenging conditions, and ultimately achieve complete and profound enlightenment? This remarkable achievement is also very closely related to the fundamental concept of faith. Indeed, all of us gathered here often diligently read and contemplate the teachings of the Diamond Sutra. In the profound Diamond Sutra, it is clearly stated that when faith is truly pure and unblemished, the inherent true nature spontaneously arises. If we cultivate a deeply joyful faith, a genuinely pure faith, and an absolutely unwavering faith, then we can indeed give rise to this profound, absolute fundamental reality. What precisely is meant by this absolute fundamental reality? It signifies the realization of the original face, the fundamental true essence of all phenomena. This is what is truly and profoundly called a genuine realization. So I observe that many devout Buddhists in their practice, first of all, do not properly understand the crucial importance of faith. In the traditional exoteric schools, whether it's Pure Land devotion or Chan practice, they all essentially rely on unwavering faith to attain rebirth or to achieve enlightenment. And in esoteric Vajrayana, whether it's advanced Dzogchen, authentic Mahamudra, or powerful Yamantaka practice, all of these most profound and esoteric teachings are also accomplished through deep faith. In other words, authentic faith truly also holds an especially important and fundamental place in achieving ultimate realization through consistent practice. If one has genuine faith, then that person, no matter how much physical or mental suffering they endure, will willingly accept it. But if their mental strength is lacking or their faith is insufficient, then even the smallest matters they are reluctant to carry out. All of us present here today. This is a particularly special day. Everyone is about to welcome the Lunar New Year. The Spring Festival is approaching. At this time, according to everyone's customs, every family member surely has a lot of things to do. But because you have faith in the Dharma, you find a way. You can set aside many things. You can arrange many matters on your own. So the things you truly and deeply want to do, you are fully and completely able to carry out. Therefore, the profound and revered Avatamsaka Sutra also clearly states faith can indeed give rise to the magnificent and enlightened Bodhi tree. This same steadfast faith can also significantly increase the supreme and boundless wisdom. Furthermore, this powerful and unwavering faith can manifest and reveal all Buddhas. So faith is also the supreme wisdom, and it is also the most profoundly challenging and difficult to give rise to indeed. Many Dharma friends who have read the Avatamsaka Sutra, you can see the importance of faith. Indeed, for us devoted practitioners, faith should be said to possess many natural, invisible, or even entirely indescribable powers and qualities. This kind of extraordinary power, if you talk about it in front of someone without real faith, they may not be able to fully accept or comprehend it. But if you have unwavering faith, then when praying and prostrating before the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, it goes without saying, whoever has faith, the Buddha is right in front of them. For example, when we visualize Amitabha Buddha or Shakyamuni Buddha in front of us, if we pray to them and remember them with single-minded devotion, it is clearly stated in the sacred scriptures and various commentaries that you will receive blessings directly and personally. This is indeed the case. So, regarding any guru, whether the spiritual guru is still alive and well or has already passed away from this world, or even if the guru is indeed alive but not physically by your side at this moment, as long as you have faith in them, frequently pray to them and call upon them. Then, in this very way, the guru's truly inconceivable and profound divine blessings will naturally merge into your own mind stream, and many of your mental states and behaviors will naturally and truly begin to transform. This is something that many fellow practitioners here have realized through their own practice, or in other words, have personally experienced and can truly feel for themselves. Therefore, this profound kind of faith, as comprehensively taught in Buddhism, even when directly directed toward actual tangible objects, such as revered Buddha statues or intricate thangkas, or when we visualize them, brings inconceivable blessings. This goes without saying naturally. Even if you have genuine faith in any authentic Dharma teaching and regard it as a true and precious object of the Buddha's enlightened blessing, you will also truly receive the profound and benevolent blessings of the Buddha. Here in Tibet, this is a story that everyone knows. I see that in Han regions as well. Many people who have studied the words of my perfect teacher should be familiar with it. It contains the story of an old woman who attained Buddhahood by relying on a dog's tooth. In fact, this is something that truly and historically happened in Tibetan history. This particular story may sound a bit strange. Some people who are naturally skeptical wonder, how could something quite like this happen in reality? Some people may develop doubts, especially certain individuals who have been exposed to particularly complex and diverse cultural education since childhood. Their faith is not as strong as that of people in ancient times. In the past, whether in Tibet or in Han regions, people in ancient times had very firm faith. You could say their minds were relatively pure, and they believed in most things. Because nowadays, in our modern world, we extensively watch television, movies, and all kinds of information on the internet with the intricate intertwining of Eastern and Western cultures. Growing up in such a world where discriminating thoughts are not only extremely noisy, but also deeply pervasive, our own discriminating thoughts indeed become a very significant and substantial obstacle to achieving true enlightenment and engaging in meaningful spiritual practice. For example, when a profound Buddhist scripture meticulously explains a certain intricate principle, we repeatedly generate discriminating thoughts, thinking, it can't possibly be like that. Even when a truly great master or an accomplished and experienced teacher expounds a particularly refined or an especially profound teaching, we still feel that it might not necessarily be so. But if you were asked to describe a true truth yourself, you would probably find it quite difficult as well. So, to get back to my point, just now I mentioned a story from Tibet about attaining Buddhahood by relying on a dog's tooth. The story goes that there was an old woman whose son often traveled to India. The first time he went, she told him that he should bring something back from Vajrasana in India, which is the place where Shakyamuni Buddha attained enlightenment. She said, "You must bring me a blessed object from there. I want to prostrate every day. I want to pay homage every day. I need a blessed object from the Buddha." The first time her son was busy with business. People who do business often forget many things at home. So while he was there, he kept forgetting. It was only when he was on his way back that he remembered this matter. His mother told him again and again, "This time I can forgive you. I'll let you off the hook. But next time you must bring me a blessed object from the Buddha." Then the next time he went, the son was even more forgetful. Maybe it's just that big shot tend to be forgetful, so there was nothing he could do. He forgot again. After he forgot again, his mother spoke to him once more. She said, "If you come back this time and you still haven't brought it to me, as a mother, I don't ask for anything else now. I only pray to Shakyamuni Buddha, wholeheartedly wishing for rebirth. If I can't even receive a single blessed object from you, I could die right in front of you." She made it very clear to her son. This time he went there once again. When he was present at that location, he truly and genuinely wanted to acquire a blessed object. But on his way back, he actually forgot again. As he was getting quite close and could clearly see the place where his mother lived, he suddenly and vividly remembered everything. By now, it had happened many times. He hadn't brought any blessed object for his mother. He thought, if I go back empty-handed like this, I'm afraid my mother might die right in front of me. He wondered what to do, looking around in all directions. Just then, he happened to unexpectedly see the lifeless corpse of a stray dog lying nearby. It was already decomposed and its teeth were exposed. Then, this man immediately took one of the teeth. As a businessman, he had a lot of Indian silk. He carefully wrapped the tooth in the silk, and when he got home, he coaxed his mother, saying, "This time I brought you an especially rare and blessed object." He told her, "This is the Buddha's tooth for you." And his mother truly believed it was. His mother probably had a lot of faith. Otherwise, there is still a bit of a difference between a human tooth and a dog's tooth. But perhaps it was indeed broken or something similar to that. So the devoted mother worshipped the sacred Buddha every single day, truly and deeply believing it was the Buddha's authentic tooth. Later, numerous relics actually appeared from that dog tooth. And when the beloved mother eventually passed away, there were indeed many auspicious and significant signs of her peaceful rebirth. And attaining realization, later eminent monks and great masters explained, it wasn't that the dog's tooth itself had a lot of blessings, but rather it was her profound faith and her earnest prayers to the Buddha, and then the Buddha's divine blessings, the immense power of her unwavering faith, merged completely into the sacred dog's tooth. So the dog's tooth bestowed blessings upon her. I've talked about this particular point before, that there are indeed many similar stories and narratives within the rich tradition of Chinese Buddhism. Once I distinctly recall seeing that in contemporary Western philosophy, it also explained a very similar philosophical principle, which was articulated by an influential figure named Pietro Pomponazzi, a prominent Italian philosopher and Renaissance humanist. who was considered the most prominent and influential philosopher in Italy during the vibrant intellectual period of the 16th century. After many dedicated and extensive years of meticulous research, he ultimately and definitively arrived at a remarkably similar conclusion. So, what exactly was his profound conclusion? He explicitly stated that people working within the medical field, as well as distinguished philosophers, fully and comprehensively understand that, no matter what specific kind of patient it truly is, if the patient genuinely finds a bone, and other people tell him that this particular bone undeniably belonged to a revered saint, if the patient becomes absolutely and profoundly convinced of this fact, when he is completely and utterly convinced, then his medical condition will most certainly and definitively improve significantly. So I think this fundamental principle is essentially the same as what we have just thoroughly discussed. When viewed from the comprehensive perspective of both worldly philosophy and the intricate field of medicine, it is indeed profoundly true that faith is very important and truly essential for people. If you don't have faith, even if Shakyamuni Buddha appeared right in front of you, it might not necessarily be beneficial, even if Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, Asanga Bodhisattva, or the Han Region, Patriarch Bodhidharma, were to come here today. Patriarch Bodhidharma, to us, would also just appear as a person, and Shakyamuni Buddha, when manifesting before sentient beings, also appeared as a person. For those with wrong views, like Bhikshu Sunakshatra and Devadatta in the past, not only did some people fail to develop faith, they even developed wrong views and went so far as to attack. This principle is something everyone should understand. So I think that everyone present must actively develop and grow the faith in the teachings and principles of Buddhism. This kind of deeply held faith, one could certainly assert, possesses a significant and often underestimated subconscious power. Furthermore, it also manifests as a more readily apparent and observable kind of power. As described in the Abhidharmakosha, it is a kind of truly virtuous and wonderful consciousness. But indeed, this virtuous and wonderful consciousness, when it truly arises, its profound and far-reaching effect is indeed truly inconceivable. For example, if you truly feel in your heart that the blessings of the Guru and the three jewels are inconceivable, if you truly think in this particular way, it will indeed bring you a profoundly different kind of inner strength. But if, in your heart, you feel that not only do the Guru and the three jewels not bestow blessings, but that they are actually a harm to humanity, and you even develop a wrong view towards them, then you will not receive any genuine blessings at all. Therefore, as Patrul Rinpoche also wisely said, if you have supreme faith in the Guru and the three jewels, you will certainly receive supreme blessings. With middling faith and respect, you will receive middling blessings and attainments. If you have only inferior faith and respect towards them, then you will receive only inferior blessings and benefits. If you have no faith at all in the Guru and the three jewels, not even a trace, then you will truly not receive any true spiritual benefits. Then relying on the Guru and the three jewels will bring you nothing at all. You won't gain any real benefit at all from such an approach. Therefore, whether it is some genuine, authentic and profound Buddhist teachings, or if you compare them with current, contemporary psychological and philosophical concepts and frameworks, they still undeniably possess tremendous, far-reaching and deeply impactful effects, a kind of truly indescribable, profound and transformative power. There is a book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. In The Power of the Subconscious Mind, it says that some patients in the world, if the doctor accidentally misdiagnoses them and erroneously tells them they have cancer or some fatal terminal illness and bluntly tells them this alarming information, then the shocked patient immediately becomes truly afraid and tragically dies from sheer fear, just by simply telling them that their serious illness is indeed serious but absolutely shouldn't be fatally dangerous. It actually has virtually no real effect. But deep within their very own heart, they already profoundly feel that they are completely beyond any saving. At this critical point, when utter despair becomes overwhelmingly pervasive, they may tragically lose their precious life. If we encounter someone who is especially miserable and truly heartbroken, and we carefully use certain compassionate words to genuinely help them develop a profound sense of hope, or to effectively inspire courage within them, then they might actually be saved. So, regarding these significant issues, many Western psychologists today and the profound principles taught in Buddhism both offer valuable insights. can actually be quite compatible if we do not have this kind of direct correspondence. I'm afraid that many of you here present, especially some sophisticated intellectuals, I think it would be very hard to adjust mentally. Why do I say this? Intellectuals have a natural advantage in learning. And what is that specific advantage? No matter what abstract theory is being discussed, they can easily and thoroughly grasp it. That's their strength, whatever principle you talk about. It's not like communicating with someone who is illiterate or less intelligent, which can be especially difficult. That's not the case here. After you finish explaining, they can immediately understand your underlying meaning. That's their advantage. But they also have a significant drawback, a fundamental flaw. What exactly is it? There are many profound ideas, or you could say genuine wisdom and insights, even though they are absolutely true and completely without any fault or error. But this stubborn person still cannot accept them wholeheartedly. They always have a kind of persistent wrong view that automatically rejects the truth. This is the real fundamental flaw of many contemporary intellectuals. So I think many people here should try every possible way and method to truly and deeply maintain their own personal faith. It is important that you actively seek out and discover effective ways to genuinely give rise to, cultivate, and strengthen your own authentic faith within yourselves. So once faith arises, what can be done next? First of all, you may need to study more related materials. For example, in Buddhism, the scriptures and treatises within Buddhism. Through genuine study or listening and contemplation of the scriptures and treatises, your faith will naturally arise. Of course, when studying the Dharma, faith is also the first step. If you don't have faith, you might not even knock on this door, but if you have some karmic connection or faith, you will enter through this door. Therefore, among the profound teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha, the one who made the very greatest contribution, and who is also commonly and widely referred to by many people as the revered second Buddha, is the esteemed Bodhisattva Nagarjuna. In the profound great treatise on the perfection of wisdom, he wisely stated, "The vast great ocean of the Dharma, faith, is the essential means to truly enter." Indeed, only sincere faith can truly allow one to deeply enter this immense great ocean. If you do not have faith, then it is impossible to enter the Buddhist path. This is the case for many people around us. There are those with wrong views, those with prejudices, those with nihilistic views, and those with eternalist views. There are also all kinds of people with no views at all, blindly pursuing life. Every day they desperately chase after things. But what exactly are they pursuing? Even they themselves do not understand, even at the time of death. Especially nowadays, most ordinary people are in a deep state of confusion and spiritual ignorance. There are also some who are in a state without any goals. There are also some individuals who blindly pursue material wealth. Indeed, there are people like that as well. There are also some who are insatiably greedy. And there are some who just muddle through life. So the dispositions of sentient beings are indeed extremely diverse. In fact, there are all kinds of heretical views, and especially many of them have emerged. Therefore, in India, a very famous and influential figure, one could certainly say in today's contemporary terms, the preeminent king of philosophers, the venerable Master Dignaga, also profoundly stated, "Because erroneous views are boundless, it is difficult to refute them all. Erroneous knowledge and views in the world are limitless." Even around us, there may be quite a few people who hold wrong views. If you try to refute each of their mistaken beliefs one by one, we probably do not have the necessary time, nor the genuine interest or sufficient energy to undertake such an endeavor. However, overall, it is crucial that we diligently cultivate a truly pure and unwavering faith within ourselves. Only with such unwavering faith can you truly realize the genuine nature of all phenomena. Therefore, the Uttara Tantra Shastra also states that through faith, one can realize the ultimate truth. What is the ultimate truth? It is what we refer to as emptiness. The meaning of emptiness in the Madhyamaka tradition is extremely profound. However, for those individuals who possess a profound and unwavering faith, if they diligently read and contemplate these concepts repeatedly and with great dedication, they can indeed fully realize it through this very approach. Such phenomena are consistently found throughout the entire span of human history. Especially among some of our lineage masters, their faith in the three jewels is truly beyond words. I remember that His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche, whenever he spoke about his root guru, would always be profoundly moved to tears. Later, when he was nearing his parinirvana in his advanced 70s, even in his 70s when he was teaching, as soon as he mentioned his revered root guru, Toga Rinpoche, he would always remember him in this deeply profound and respectful way. Why was that the case? It was because of the profound wisdom and enlightened understanding that the guru had attained is closely connected to the lineage masters. Whenever he thought of the kindness of his guru, it was like a business person or anyone in the world, whose life was saved by someone else's wealth or resources, they would be eternally and profoundly grateful, never forgetting this significant act for the entire remainder of their life. I will never forget this in my lifetime, because when I was at my most difficult, when I was suffering in the sea of pain, you saved me. In our worldly lives, it is indeed true that it is truly through the profound blessings and the sacred teachings of our revered gurus that in the vast and boundless ocean of samsaric suffering, only by relying on unwavering faith in the guru, a pure and unblemished faith, can we find our way, can we truly cross the vast great ocean of the three realms. As it is also profoundly stated in the Dhammapada, faith can indeed cross the immense ocean of existence. Its inherent virtue is truly hard to steal. This profoundly means that unwavering faith is fundamentally like a sturdy boat. If you truly want to cross the vast ocean of the three realms, only by relying on faith can you indeed make it across. This kind of profound and invaluable wisdom, whether it be formidable enemies or even cunning and persistent thieves, absolutely cannot take it away from you. So, in the past, among the many comprehensive biographies of the revered gurus, the ones that consistently moved my heart the most deeply, the most profoundly touching ones, were seeing how, in their daily lives, regarding any of their interactions and experiences. For example, when it came to their daily life or their own status and reputation, they didn't care at all. But whenever they thought of their guru, their lineage, or the wisdom the Buddha bestowed upon us, they felt immense gratitude. I once read the biography of Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche when he was in his 70s, or so it seems, at that particular time. Whenever he thoughtfully mentioned his revered root guru, he would invariably be deeply moved to tears. Why is it that these elderly individuals are still so easily brought to tears even after all these years? I think that for most people in the world, when it comes to worldly emotions or family or various worldly problems and difficulties, these individuals never once cried about such things when they were young, and even less so in their advanced old age. So what exactly is the profound reason for this? It truly is because they have gained a significant spiritual wealth. This particular kind of spiritual wealth far surpasses the inherent value of mere worldly riches. That's precisely why in our continuous practice we love to say, pray wholeheartedly to the Guru. This is very important and essential for practitioners. I hope that everyone here during your lifetime, whether it is towards your root Guru or towards the Buddha, towards the Bodhisattvas, Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, or towards a particular Guru of your own, regard them as a truly Buddha and pray to them often and sincerely. If your Guru has a Guru Yoga practice, then diligently practice it every day without interruption. Because in the profound tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, many revered gurus and spiritual masters often say that the practice of Guru Yoga is actually considered the supreme king of all spiritual practices. When diligently practicing any profound Dharma, if there is no Guru Yoga, meaning no true guidance from a qualified master or their intangible and powerful blessings, then you will not be able to attain genuine ultimate realization and liberation. Therefore, when we wake up mindfully in the morning, or before we go to sleep peacefully at night, at the very least, we should pray 3 times wholeheartedly to the Buddha or to our venerable Guru. Your pure faith is fundamentally crucial. If you have deep faith, for example, just a small photo of Shakyamuni Buddha, then this treasured photo, you would always carry it with you everywhere. This is truly why the Buddha's enlightened image is entirely different from other casual worldly photos. Nowadays, some people in the world, like celebrity fans, carry a photo of their idol every day. I've heard they even stick it to their chest. This too is a particular kind of faith, one might reasonably say. However, this specific kind of faith is fundamentally not the same as our deep and abiding faith in the Buddha. Why exactly is it so distinctly different? Because the Buddha's body, speech and mind, his merits and activities, these profound merits are truly inconceivable. The Heap of Jewels Sutra, a significant Buddhist scripture, specifically discusses the Inconceivable Secret Sutra, a deeply profound teaching. I don't know if any of you here have read it. Probably not. Everyone is so busy that you don't even have time to study the basic courses. Who has time to read the Tripitaka? Even if you do, you can't understand the classical Chinese. After reading a couple of lines, you toss it aside. Isn't that the case? It shouldn't be like this. For all of us, coming into this world is difficult. Obtaining a human body is particularly rare. And after gaining a human body, to encounter the Dharma, like that of the wish-fulfilling jewel, is even rarer. It's truly, truly not easy. So when you encounter such a wonderful Dharma, we should cherish this moment, cherish this opportunity. At the very least, we should have some form of self-discipline. What kind of self-discipline, you might ask? Of course, everyone's situation is different. Some individuals are very diligent and possess great faith, so aside from arranging their daily work or household chores, they can make time both during the day and at night. From what I've read in the biographies of great masters of the past, they slept very little at night and were rarely distracted during the day. Actually, for most people, I think your work might not be as busy as you claim. It's just distraction. The causes and conditions for distraction are truly everywhere outside, brilliantly dazzling and utterly overwhelming. In ancient, much simpler times, our world was certainly not nearly so incredibly colorful and vibrantly alive. Back then, there weren't so many external causes for distraction. When I used to talk about traditional Chinese studies, whether it was Confucius, Mencius, or Xunzi, in their philosophies, they believed that even then, the external world was full of various colors, but compared to now, it was nothing. Nowadays, if we don't have the mindfulness to control our time, not to mention anything else, just spending every day looking at our phones and playing around, that's basically enough to fill up a whole life. If you're always playing games on your phone every day, watching this and that on your phone, then basically young people might not have any time left to learn anything. It's truly tragic, this world. And this isn't just the isolated situation for a few people. The whole world has unfortunately become like this now. Now in Tibet as well, some practitioners are especially worried, but even if they're worried, there's nothing they can do. It's the collective karma of sentient beings. It's true for us people of the 21st century. On the surface, from an outward appearance, we should have more blessings than those in the last century. Look around, everyone here is wearing all kinds of bright, colorful clothes, all sorts of especially beautiful and attractive things. In the past, maybe only the clothes that some lay practitioners here are wearing now. In the past, maybe only princesses and kings could wear such clothes. Ordinary people might not have been able to. But in reality, in our incredibly brief human lives, can these mere clothes actually truly save our immortal souls throughout all our countless lifetimes? They truly and unequivocally cannot. So who then is the authentic and ultimate real author of all our profound suffering and our deepest happiness life after life? Who is the one experiencing it? It's what we call the self. This self, until it attains liberation, must continue to drift along, following its own good and bad karma. While drifting like this, we need to understand what each of us should be doing right now. What will your future ultimately be like? So I often find myself thinking, all of us here are incredibly busy every single day. But in another 20 or 30 more years, looking back on what we have actually done, basically, we will have gained absolutely nothing at all. There will be truly nothing left. A few fleeting decades of this brief, precious life. All our energy, all our efforts are spent like this. Is it really worth it when we leave this world? Whether it's the money you've worked so hard to earn, or the wealth you've accumulated, or even the descendants you've raised, all of it is just like pulling a single hair out of a large block of butter. Not even the tiniest, most insignificant bit can be taken with you. No matter how incredibly famous you are, how immensely wealthy you are, or whatever kind of person you truly are, in the very end, you will go completely alone into the bardo. After entering the bardo, in fact, the karma you created in your previous life will always either benefit or harm you. So when you reflect on this principle of cause and effect, It's possible that your current enthusiasm for your work right now might experience a slight decrease. But we also shouldn't go to extremes. Just because you heard this teaching today, you might think, oh, I should abandon everything tomorrow. You might feel no responsibility toward your family or anything else and just pack a bag to become a monk. You become a monk for 2 or 3 days, then you want to revert to lay life. It can't be like this. Sometimes people shouldn't be too extreme. But when it comes to the truth, we need to understand it. In this world, we might think of ourselves as just a small part of it all. A college student, a graduate student, or whatever else. But in reality, isn't it possible that some of our actions are rather blind? When people lack a certain confidence, a sense of wisdom, or even education, they often lose their proper way. There is this genuine possibility and significant risk. Therefore, first and foremost, each of us must possess the invaluable wealth of sincere faith in the three jewels. This is very important for our practice. Those who can have faith in the three jewels are called the richest. This is precisely what it says in the Noble Mahavaipulya Sutra, the baskets display. Those individuals who can have profound faith in the three jewels are truly called the richest. What this profoundly means is, if we have true faith in the sacred three jewels, we are actually the wealthiest people in the entire world. This spiritual wealth is already inherently ours, and it is extremely rare to truly attain over countless lifetimes. Indeed, ordinary material wealth may be obtained through diligent effort. But as for deep faith, those without accumulated merit sometimes truly cannot attain it naturally. When I converse with some devoted Dharma friends, I also tell them directly, in fact, our spiritual practice is indeed fundamentally related to the merit accumulated in our past lives. If we lack merit, we won't even have the opportunity to do good deeds, whereas the opportunities to commit unwholesome acts are quite numerous. Today, you might meet a bad friend and then collaborate with them to create negative karma. All sorts of wonderful doors open up and the prevailing conditions are quite favorable. You might even begin to think, I am so truly successful, so exceptionally unique indeed. But if you have merit, the chances to commit negative actions become fewer and fewer. You find yourself reading Buddhist scriptures and treatises and meeting great masters and virtuous teachers. Many positive circumstances arise naturally. At this time, your own faith will also naturally increase. So, as I mentioned earlier, faith is a great form of wealth. Among all treasures, the wealth of faith is supreme. This is also stated in the Noble Mahavaipulya Sutra. Among all earthly treasures, the wealth of true faith is truly supreme. However, many people may not necessarily see it this way. They think that the amount of material wealth a person has is something to be especially envious of, something that brings great happiness. Of course, if one truly makes offerings to the three jewels or gives alms to sentient beings, if such considerable wealth is utilized in this particular manner, this is also something that the Buddha explicitly permitted within the related sacred scriptures. Back when the Buddha was alive, there were also people who made great contributions to Buddhism, such as the elder Anathapindika and other great benefactors. Now, in order to spread the Dharma, we also need many devout Buddhists, as well as many business organizations. We also need many insightful intellectuals and many highly capable individuals. Everyone truly needs to work together harmoniously. I firmly believe that in this way, the profound Dharma can be effectively spread and widely promoted. By truly promoting it like this, countless sentient beings will greatly benefit, will naturally obtain both temporary, immediate, and ultimate everlasting true benefit. So I think on one hand, having physical property and monetary wealth is very good if it can be put to good use. If it cannot be used properly, it is very likely to become the cause of creating negative karma. Therefore, now as we stand at a crossroads in life, we must clearly distinguish our direction. If we do not clearly distinguish our direction, especially for people living in big cities, the causes and conditions for degeneration, I believe, are quite numerous. Some young people, and indeed some middle-aged individuals, truly, their actions and behaviors, from my perspective as a careful observer, often naturally and quite profoundly evoke a deep sense of sorrow from deep within my heart and soul. Why is that the case? Because in our relatively short lives, the negative karma we create is truly inconceivable. In this way, the karmic results we will experience later on will depend on how long, how intense, and how truly powerful they will ultimately be. In this particular case, I profoundly think that every single sentient being, without exception, genuinely wants to be completely free from all forms of suffering and to joyfully attain lasting happiness, and does not, under any circumstances, wish to endure various kinds of pain or hardship. So, I think all of us Buddhist friends who are gathered here today, we should sometimes take a good, long, and introspective look at ourselves, truly examining our inner thoughts and motivations, and clearly see for ourselves what our fundamental direction and purpose in life truly is. If you are a devoted Buddhist now, then as a devoted Buddhist, you should certainly have some actual and meaningful practice. If you have absolutely no practice and only have the mere title of having taken refuge, if you always remain at just this very basic level, I think that's also unreasonable. Therefore, everyone should have a kind of firm confidence. With this kind of confidence, naturally, you will be motivated to benefit sentient beings. Confidence is also very important. Even if your level of education is not very high, as long as you have confidence. Perhaps, as I mentioned earlier, your profound realization will continue to keep increasing, and the act of benefiting others will also naturally be accomplished with great ease and grace. I remember in Living with the Himalayan Masters, there was a particular case mentioned. This specific case stated that in Tibet, when ordinary people pass away, it's quite common to perform Phowa rituals for their spiritual transference. After there was a family's beloved loved one died, they unfortunately couldn't find a suitable monk to perform the essential ritual. Later, in the distant northern regions, they eventually found a wandering yogi who remarkably looked very much like a humble beggar. They invited this yogi to perform the ritual for their deceased relative. He said, "I do not know how to recite any elaborate rituals, but I only know how to chant the sacred phrase Karmapa Chenno." Karmapa Chenno is a profound prayer to the revered Karmapa, meaning either Karmapa, please know me, or Karmapa, please remember me. This particular practitioner was completely illiterate. He did not know anything else at all. He chanted the sacred phrase Karmapa Chenno 100 times, repeatedly, and then with a gentle yet profound motion, he carefully tapped the deceased's body with his sacred prayer beads. As a direct and truly remarkable result, a genuine miracle occurred. Indeed, clear and unmistakable signs of Phowa began to visibly appear at his crown chakra, right here. There was, without a doubt, a palpable emanation of brilliant light, and numerous auspicious and profoundly significant signs of rebirth began to unmistakably appear. Originally, their faith in Buddhism and many aspects of the teachings was not very strong. But afterwards, through learning and guidance, they truly developed genuine and unwavering faith. Later, there was an occasion, I forget which incarnation of the Karmapa it was at that time, when real Karmapa was in Tibet, that yogi went to see him. When he went to see him, the Karmapa said, "When we were in the north, everyone worked together wholeheartedly, and it was not easy to help that soul cross over. It wasn't easy for you, and it wasn't easy for me either. After he arrived, he said this, and at that time, everyone present knew it as well. Moreover, the Karmapa used his prayer beads to gently tap the people beside him." This kind of story, actually, Chakme Rinpoche also talked about this in the Mountain Dharma. We often say Lama Kyano. Lama Kyano means praying to the Guru, or it can also mean the Guru knows. We often say Lama Kyano when we wake up in the morning or whenever we pray to the Guru, as long as we have this intention. Then this itself is a practice. As I have just mentioned, you can simply do it entirely by yourself. Nowadays, many people living in bustling cities and urban areas often find themselves in situations where they are seeking such time-critical opportunities. They find it hard to practice many dharmas, and even if they want to, they might not have the time. Some people can't even finish many of their daily practices. But the most fundamental one is this. Personally, when I wake up in the morning or before I go to bed at night, I just want to practice Guru Yoga more, so I recite Guru Yoga. Even if it's just a few lines, make sure to recite it carefully before going to sleep. In this way, this can also be regarded as a relatively simple and practical method of practice. So I think everyone must have their own faith to rely on. This is especially important. Everyone should truly have a kind of personal faith of their very own. Moreover, it's highly best if this profound kind of faith becomes absolutely unshakable at a certain definitive point. It should be remarkably firm and utterly indestructible, truly and completely unbreakable. There should be a clear, valid, and comprehensive reasoning to fully understand that the Dharma is indeed the most supreme and ultimate truth. Among all teachings, the Dharma should not just be something we talk about superficially. Right now, I don't dare to say that I have any realization. But with over 20 years of accumulated study and profound contemplation, I'm truly willing to debate with anyone who genuinely doesn't believe in religion. Debate about what precisely? I mean the immense power of the Dharma, the truly inconceivable blessings of the Dharma. Moreover, the profound wisdom of the Buddha is truly beyond all imagination. I am confident about this and also want to share this with everyone. In my lifetime, I can't speak for other things, but my unwavering faith in the profound principles of Buddhism will never waver or diminish. This I can confidently and unequivocally guarantee to you. I genuinely believe this is, in my own personal view, my most significant and greatest spiritual progress and achievement. In this lifetime, I will not, for any other reason or external influence, of course, if it were like during the Cultural Revolution, where I was beaten every day and forced to the brink of death. I don't know if, out of fear, I might say something untrue, but deep in my heart, because of what is ingrained in my very bones, it is truly impossible to change. Dharma has completely and deeply merged into my very marrow. I think this is still very important and profoundly significant. This is also a kind of unwavering and steadfast faith. The sacred teachings say that we must develop a firm and unshakable faith. This kind of unwavering faith is not just about feeling joyful when you meet someone today. That is not truly steadfast faith. Here, a few individuals, when they meet a teacher today, say, "Ah, Master, hello, hello, hello. Ah, you are a Buddha, a Buddha." There is no difference between you and the Buddha. I have faith in you. My hands even start to tremble because of my faith in you. But then tomorrow they become dissatisfied with this person, saying, "This person is really bad." Then I develop faith in this other person, and my hands tremble in front of you. This is not steadfast faith. When we develop unwavering faith in the true and profound principles spoken by the Buddha, no theorist, no philosopher, no one at all can refute them. Truly, the Buddha's wisdom is as vast as the ocean. His wisdom is truly extraordinary. And the Buddha's spirit, even if it is just for the benefit of a single sentient being, he is willing to endure all kinds of torment in hell for countless eons. This is something ordinary people simply cannot do. Nowadays, during some significant, prestigious, grand and major award ceremonies, when someone does even a small good deed, for example, I donate blood today and win an award tomorrow. It's very easy. But what is the spirit of altruism that the Buddha embodies? What kind of truly significant award could possibly represent that profound understanding? We should genuinely take the time to carefully think about it. So these fundamental principles should be called truly steadfast faith. In this context, the Buddha himself mentioned a specific sutra called the Sutra of the Vast, Pure, Adorned, Non-Regression Wheel. In that sacred sutra, it clearly states, one should have unwavering faith in the Venerable Shakyamuni and diligently offer the profound Dharma to all sentient beings. I too should earnestly follow this noble example. This is truly called steadfast faith. With such clear and undeniable scriptural evidence, I sincerely hope that everyone, in your valuable spare time, can diligently memorize these important scriptural citations. So, what profound significance does this mean? It profoundly means that we should earnestly develop a deep and genuine faith in Shakyamuni Buddha. When you have true faith in him, you will protect and uphold his Dharma as if it were your own life. Then, through the Dharma, you will wish to help sentient beings. I believe that the very best way to help sentient beings is to use the nectar-like, wondrous medicine of Buddhism to cure the deep-rooted afflictions of greed, anger, and ignorance in sentient beings that have persisted since beginningless time. So, by utilizing the precious nectar of the Dharma, we can truly benefit all sentient beings. At the same time, throughout this present life and in all future lives, we must absolutely never lose our profound faith. We must diligently follow the noble path of Shakyamuni Buddha and earnestly strive to learn from his enlightened wisdom. We profoundly need to have an unwavering, steadfast faith that genuinely comes from the deepest depths of our hearts, from our very bones, and from our innermost being. This kind of faith is not just something casually spoken, superficial, or merely written in words. Even if today, thousands upon thousands of people were to say and criticize you, claiming that your faith is wrong, you still would not waver in the slightest. This is what is truly called genuine, steadfast faith. With such unwavering and profound faith, you will most definitely succeed on your chosen path of spiritual practice. If you truly lack this kind of genuine faith, then no matter how much effort you put in on the surface, it simply won't pass. It won't be truly enough. Buddhists often end up deceiving themselves and also others. This is ultimately meaningless and without any real purpose. As for non-Buddhists, it is precisely because they lack faith. They may also resort to all sorts of tricks, but this too is ultimately meaningless. That is precisely why we often strongly advocate that one must truly develop genuine and steadfast faith. Only with unwavering and profound faith can one truly attain spiritual enlightenment and inner peace. Just as it is said in the Udana, it says, "Faith is truly the wealth that leads to a true and right path." The immense wealth of faith is indeed the only way to truly attain the path. Each of us profoundly wishes to achieve a significant series of accomplishments. Then, in order to succeed, we must rely on such steadfast faith. Ultimately, what we truly attain comes from this. That is precisely why we sometimes diligently read the profound biographies of eminent monks and truly great masters. I once had the opportunity to read the biography of Lawton. He served the Venerable Atisha, truly regarding him as equal to the Buddha himself. Later, during the dedicated process of serving him, he attained a profound and sudden enlightenment. There was also in China a notable Chan master named Chailing Yu. He always held a pure mind toward his esteemed teacher, seeing his teacher as a Buddha. So he developed great joy toward his teacher, and later, relying on his teacher's blessings, when he attained enlightenment, a verse naturally flowed from him. I think many of you here can recite it. He said, "I have a bright pearl, long locked away by worldly dust and toil. Today the dust is gone and the light shines forth, illuminating countless mountains and rivers." What this means is, I originally possessed the Tathagata Garbha, a mind as clear as crystal. But this fundamental nature of the mind, due to the accumulated karma of all sentient beings, has unfortunately, and for a very long time, been extensively covered by various defilements. Today, relying on the blessings of my teacher and my own faith, with these conditions now complete, the dust on my bright and shining pearl is now settled, has been completely swept away. And when there is no more dust, the radiance of the bright pearl can naturally shine through thousands of mountains and rivers, even illuminating the entire world, leading to sudden enlightenment. Such a state, I feel, is truly magnificent. I sincerely hope that each of us who has already attained this state will continue to make further progress. And for those individuals who have not yet had the opportunity to attain it, to work diligently and with great dedication to strive for its achievement. Thank you all very much. That's all for today's session.